There are forces that shape our world: wind, water, and sometimes a single human mind. Étienne-Louis Boullée was such a mind, an architect who built the impossible, not with stone, but with ideas. His greatest creations existed only on paper, in magnificent detailed drawings, structures so vast and grand they dwarfed the cathedrals of his era. Boulée's architecture was meant to inspire awe, to make people feel small before grand ideas like nature, death, and knowledge. Boulée's legacy is not in stone, but in the landscape of our imagination. At the heart of Boulée's vision was a love for simple, powerful shapes. The sphere, cylinder, pyramid, and cube, these were his building blocks. He saw these forms as timeless, found in the sun, the moon, and the mountains. Boullée stripped away the ornate style of his era, focusing on mass and form. Imagine a gigantic sphere on a plane, no ornament needed, just pure impact. His architecture was about overwhelming emotion, not decoration. Standing before one of his imagined structures, you'd feel awe, a sense of the sublime. He used symmetry and repetition to create endlessness and order. Boullée designed experiences for the human spirit, not just places to be. These geometric forms were deeply symbolic. The sphere represented the universe and perfection. The cube, strength and permanence. By choosing a shape, he embedded meaning into the very foundation. This was speaking architecture in action. The forms themselves communicated purpose and connection to Enlightenment ideals. Boulée's pure geometry was a radical statement, architecture as universal language. He believed buildings could embody the grand ideas of reason and discovery. His vision was to create structures that felt eternal. Boulée's world of pure geometry still inspires us to see beauty in simplicity. His designs remind us that form can be as powerful as function. Boulée's most famous dream was the cenotaph for Sir Isaac Newton. A cenotaph honors someone whose remains are elsewhere. This was to be a tribute to Newton's cosmic genius. Boullée chose a colossal sphere, 150 meters wide, taller than a 40-story building. The sphere rested on a vast, tiered base, surrounded by cypress trees. Tiny human figures at its base looked like ants, deliberately dwarfed by the monument's scale. The smooth, unadorned surface was an image of immensity. Boullée wanted visitors to feel as if they were gazing at a celestial body fallen to earth. The monument was a universe in itself, a building as an idea. Unlike traditional tombs reaching for the sky, Boulée's sphere contained the sky within. The sphere symbolized the totality of existence, a self-contained cosmos. It was a philosophical statement rendered in geometry. The cenotaph was a rejection of tradition, a planet, a tomb, a model of the universe. Boulée's design was a monument to the human mind. It was never built, but its idea endures. The cenotaph for Newton remains one of the most visionary projects in architectural history. It challenges us to imagine the impossible. The interior of the Newton cenotaph was even more astonishing than its exterior. Boullée imagined two experiences: day and night. By day, the vast interior was plunged into darkness, pierced only by tiny holes arranged like constellations. Sunlight streamed through, glittering like stars, an artificial cosmos. Visitors would feel as if they stood at the center of the universe. At the center, Newton's sarcophagus floated in the void, a symbol of singular genius. At night, a giant lamp suspended in the center became the only light source. The monument itself glowed, appearing as a radiant star in the darkness. Boulée's play of light and shadow was central to his vision. He used darkness for mystery, light for knowledge and reason. The cenotaph was more than a building. It was an instrument for experiencing the universe. Architecture, science, and poetry met in a single, overwhelming expression. Boullée understood that space and light could move the soul. His designs made emptiness and illumination as important as stone. The cenotaph was a living model of the cosmos, transforming from day to night. It remains a masterpiece of imagination and symbolism. Boulée's vision for the National Library of France was equally monumental. He imagined a temple of learning, not just a place to store books. The main reading room was a gigantic barrel-vaulted hall, like a Roman basilica stretched to impossible proportions. A massive skylight flooded the space with natural light. Tiered bookshelves rose like the seats of a colossal amphitheater. The books themselves formed the walls. Readers, dwarfed by the scale, became a community of scholars under one roof. The design symbolized that knowledge itself held up the institution. Boulée's library was a cathedral for the mind, elevating reading to a sacred ritual. Its size communicated the vastness of human knowledge, its unity, the interconnectedness of ideas. Light pouring from above symbolized enlightenment and reason. The library was more than functional. It was a symbol for the age of enlightenment. Boullée believed public buildings should inspire and educate. His library was the ultimate expression of that ideal. It remains one of the most stunning images in architectural history. To understand Boullée, we must look at the man and his era. Born in 1728, he was a respected architect and teacher in Paris. His early work was conventional, but the Enlightenment changed everything. France was alive with new ideas, reason, science, and liberty. Architects turned from ornate Rococo to monumental neoclassicism. Boullée became part of a visionary movement, designing ideal public monuments for a new society. He believed architecture could shape citizens and express national ideals. As the French Revolution approached, his projects fit the revolutionary spirit. Though in his later years, Boulée's work captured the ambition of an era. His drawings became blueprints for a bold, orderly future. Why were Boulée's grand designs never built? The answer is simple. They were too big for their time. The technology and materials of the 18th century couldn't support such monumental structures. The cost would have been astronomical, beyond the reach of any patron or government. France was in financial crisis. There was no money for such dreams. Boullée may not have intended them to be built at all. As a teacher, his drawings were exercises in pure design, meant to push the boundaries of architecture. They explored fundamental questions. What is a building's purpose? How can form create emotion? The drawings were the final product, not blueprints for construction. For years his work was forgotten, seen as fascinating but impractical fantasies. The world wasn't ready for Boulée's scale of imagination. It would take more than a century for architecture to catch up. In the 20th century, Boulée's work was rediscovered and became a touchstone for modern architects. His pure geometry and monumental scale felt surprisingly modern. Architects like Le Corbusier and Louis Kahn echoed his love of simple, powerful forms. Boullée legitimized the idea that a building could be a work of art, not just a structure. His influence extends to visionary paper architects who use drawings to explore radical ideas. Today, his designs appear in films, games, and concept art, symbols of sublime power. The Newton Cenotaph is instantly recognizable, a visual icon of the impossible. Boulée's work speaks to our desire to think big and create meaning. He showed that architecture could touch the infinite. His impossible dreams inspire us to imagine beyond limits. Boulée's legacy is a timeless source of inspiration. He proved that what we imagine can shape the future. Boulée's story reminds us that the world we build begins in the world we imagine. His buildings of pure geometry and light were too ambitious for his time, but their ideas endure. He teaches us to see the emotional power of space. A building is a vessel for ideas and feelings. Boullée believed design could elevate the human experience. He shows the value of dreaming beyond limits. His impossible projects challenge us to ask, what if? Boullée built the impossible in the minds of all who see his drawings. His greatest monument is the idea that architecture is a form of human expression. The most enduring structures are made of vision, courage, and the power to dream.